Welcome back, Point Three people, to another exciting episode of the Point Three podcast. We're excited to have you with us once again as we discuss the latest happenings in the world of superheroes.
In this episode, we are previewing Marvel Studios' first project of 2024, Echo.
And just a quick heads up, we won't be holding back on the spoilers, so consider this your official spoiler warning.
But everybody, before we get started with this special preview live stream episode, remember we're not just here to talk at you. We want to hear from you. Join the conversation over on our social media channels at Point Three Podcast. If you like what you're hearing from us, subscribe to us here on the channel and give us a like.
Yeah, so all of you longtime listeners, or to those that are just joining us, we're excited to have you here. So get ready as we don our capes of critique and take flight into the heart of Echo.
Aliqua Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. Wow, the fact that I stumbled on that one is what surprises me. Star in the new Marvel Spotlight series, Echo, dropping tomorrow. Euro Scroll. What is going to work for this show?
Man, so Echo is exciting, mainly because it has a lot going for it, I think, than a lot of more people give it credit for or really realize. And it's due to how it's been marketed and how it's been built up. So some of the things that I can think of off the top of our heads, the grounded storytelling, the TVMA rating has a lot of people excited, and they've definitely made it a big part of their marketing as well. Last week we got some of the news that Daredevil, the Netflix show, is canon. All of it is dropping tomorrow, and we're getting the reappearance of Maya Lopez and the Kingpin in their second official MCU appearance. And again, all of these things add up a lot. To be quite honest, though, the one big thing that I think a lot of people haven't looked at is the fact that, honestly, since Hawkeye, I looked it up to see what has released in the MCU within the past year, 2023 and before. Mm-hmm. We have not really had a street level anything in over a year. Again, the last thing is really Hawkeye. And I think back to if you were watching us when Secret Invasion came out, right? The first couple of episodes of Secret Invasion felt different, felt gritty, felt street level in a way because of the way they were utilizing Nick Fury and the drama in between. It felt really good. And we were all, let's be honest, you as well on social media, we're all excited about it. Obviously, It didn't work out that way, but Echo has that going for it. We've been kind of, because of the year, we've been getting slammed with multiversal, different universe shows. I mean, heck, even as great as they are, right? You look at even something like Invincible, where Invincible did similar stuff to the mainstream. So to get, again, a grounded level storytelling, street level, gritty, more drama focused, hopefully, it's a good feeling for the MCU.
Yeah, man, 100%. I actually went back and watched episode 3 and then episode 6 of Hawkeye to just kind of get a feel and a flavor for Maya, because for me personally, and I didn't necessarily love the Hawkeye series. However, I was very excited for Echo and Maya Lopez specifically. And then obviously having Wilson Fisk coming back.
Wilson Wisk.
Get it in there. But I think the big thing here is this is a continuation of Maya's story that was introduced. And essentially, she's not going to be the hero of this story yet. She's the main character, but she is on the run from Wilson Fisk's organization, Kingpin's organization, after the events of Hawkeye. She was all in a tizzy of, I'm hunting for Ronan, right? She thought that he was responsible for her father's death, but she realized it was the Kingpin who's responsible. Yep. And we're going to see her return to her hometown as she fights to avenge her father. That grounded storytelling piece, what I'm looking forward to most is that relatability that we get from Maya, but what she's able to do and what she's capable from a fighting standpoint, I think is what's going to elevate her for a lot of people who are watching this, because I can relate to you, but I can't do what you do. And I think she'll have that mystique and the allure to her character that fell slightly flat last time we saw her in Hawkeye.
Yeah. And honestly, it's funny to me that people aren't as excited for this, and still want to focus on the weird like MCU angle of this, where if you go back 2 years at this point, well, year and a half basically, towards Hawkeye, a big complaint with Maya Lopez's character is that she was not what people wanted her to be in terms of like comic accuracy and brutality and all that. Yet this series aims to fix and feels like a direct response to that. It feels like they're trying to fix the things that people actively complained against in Hawkeye, and yet people still kind of are, and in a way I kind of understand, but overly hesitant, I would say, to try and give this a chance.
I think this is one of those that I think you can dive all in and enjoy and experience. But Spider Brando, do you remember your feelings when you were watching Daredevil's Netflix?
It was amazing awesomeness. The rooftop. I'm never gonna forget watching the rooftop Daredevil Punisher dialogue scene. That's just a core memory for me.
And I mean, and think about that right there, because I'm not saying that this is going to be Daredevil 2.0. I don't think that's what this is setting out to be. You can make a lot of those comparisons, obviously, with everything we just mentioned to this point. However, the one plus in the thing that I think that made Daredevil very interesting, entertaining, and was very satisfying for a lot of MCU fans or superhero fans in general is that you have your extended fight scenes, but then you also have moments like what Spider Brando just said, moments of dialogue that are very impactful, and it doesn't feel like these breaths are wasted. That is what I think will be what makes this show successful, and I think will make people care about Maya's story, because I think that's where it'll come down to. Do I care about her story or do I not? If Daredevil's going to be in the first episode and they have their 6-minute fight scene or whatever it is, and we don't get Daredevil again, am I going to be someone who drops this after the 3rd or 4th episode and I don't make to the finale? I let the internet tell me what's going to happen. I think that's where the core here is people can, again, attach to the story being told. However, do you guys think, and here I'll kick this to you, do you think that they're going to introduce any other ground level characters in this besides who we've seen in the trailers?
I'd be surprised if they did. I don't think they will. Maybe, I mean, we've seen from trailers that, at least in brief glimpses, that Daredevil will be in it. So I think we'll get maybe something like that. I don't think it would be very cool if we got someone like Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, even. As cool as it would be, I don't think they are, though. To me, it really feels like they have an opportunity to do something special with Maya Lopez's character and really cement her as an anti-hero. Because in the MCU right now, I tried to think about this while we were preparing for this. We don't really have an anti-hero, like a true anti-hero.
It's because Sony's hogging them all.
Sony's hogging them all, but I mean, even they don't really feel like an anti-hero. You know what I mean? Maybe Kraven will when Kraven comes out.
Anti-heroes that shouldn't be anti-heroes.
Exactly. But proper MCU, there is no anti-hero. So it would be interesting to see if they can make her thread that line and have people invest in her through that. It could be really fun to see.
and it's that blurring. I think the most successful shows right now, especially that fall under the superhero genre umbrella, whether it be live action or animated, are the shows where characters you care about, the lines are blurred between what is good and what is evil. And I'm not saying it's the standpoint of kind of like Captain America Red Skull. I think what I'm doing is good. I think I'm doing is good. I know deep down what I'm doing is bad, but I know deep down I'm doing good, right? This is more along the lines of the Avengers are not going to help you. The Avenger killed Maya. Like, think about that for a second. Go back to Hawkeye. Maya was chasing Ronan. We knew that Ronan was Hawkeye. They knew that Clint was Ronan. Ronan is the one that killed her dad and the rest of their crew when they had that flashback when Maya showed up to the garage. The Avengers aren't good. And you're going to have that dynamic of Kingpin saying, I raised you this way. I'm the good person. No, you killed my dad or whatever it might be. Again, we know what actually happened in this. Hawkeye spoilers. But again, it's that blurring of the lines of, is what I'm doing for the greater good of the city, the town, whoever I am? And I think you're gonna really get a good dynamic between Maya, Kingpin, and then the words of wisdom from Daredevil when he's doing his thing. And I don't know. I mean, how are they going to position Daredevil in this show? Is he going to be a vigilante? Is he going to be someone who's on the run? Is he going to be, because we technically don't have him as like, what type of hero is he in the MCU?
I mean, if you go off She-Hulk, he's technically a hero, like a full-on hero.
Okay.
If we're assuming that Daredevil is canon, then I'd say probably closer to vigilante, but
that's where I'm confused a little bit. That's where the lines are slightly blurred for me specifically, knowing it's canon.
Maybe he got snapped and had a change of heart when he came back.
maybe he was in the blip.
Changed his ways. I don't know. I hope they address that though. That would be pretty cool just to see like Kingpin's rise, or like kind of like what he did throughout the blimp, or not blimp.
The blimp,
The
dude,
blimp.
my guy from Goodyear, just circling New York.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The one big thing that I was going to say also, and I was going to ask Spider Brando how you feel about it. I know that with work it's kind of crazy, and all of our personal lives are crazy as well. Do you think that 5-episode drop is a good idea?
I think it is, but like on a Tuesday night, why not on like a Friday at like 8, so you can watch like a couple episodes and then have like all day the next day.
I pose this question to you: will enough hype
I don't
be
know
built
if
going into the weekend? Right, we don't have time. Most of us aren't going to have time to watch this until
Well,
the weekend.
I have a counter argument. A lot of people don't even know that this show is coming out. I've seen so many TikToks the last couple of weeks of or days actually, of just everyone being like, "Oh, I've kept up with Marvel for so long, and then What If and Echo, they didn't even know that they dropped or anything." So I get
you're casual.
It's
I'm sorry, you're a casual.
They're
You're
yeah,
super
but
casual.
I mean, even some hardcore fans that I know just forgot What If was coming out, or I don't know, Marvel might have just fallen off their radar because the holidays and stuff recently. But
I guess.
Too quick.
it's I don't like that it's dropping on a Tuesday.
Here's my
More
one
so
big.
for my own bias.
Here's my one big counter argument to that Friday thing. Friday, you're going out. You're not gonna sit at home and watch TV. Majority of people, right? I think we would, but majority of people are not gonna want to find the time on a weekend to sit down and watch a 5-episode series.
But who's
That
gonna remember
is
it if they can't get to it until the weekend.
the hype. Here's the thing. To me, the fact that this is all dropping at once on a Tuesday night, it's going to have legs because it's gonna come out. People like IGN, all of these sites that review it, and I have a feeling that something's going to be revealed here that at least shakes up the MCU just a little bit, enough to where people are going to keep talking about it. And then the people that didn't watch it Tuesday or this week at all are going to be like, oh yeah, that Echo show. And honestly, that's how TV shows go regardless, majority of the time. Some people don't. A lot of people wait till the full season is out to watch it.
Mhm.
And I do think that, again, if you come home from
I'm
work and you
guilty of
have
that.
nothing to do, you're going to
Like,
watch it all in
Jesus
one sitting.
Christ.
The one thing that Marvel still has going for it is Marvel. If this show defies all general logic of it exists, a female lead's actually a good character, they recovered the reputation of Kingpin, the fighting is good, the choreography is good, the Marvel Spotlight, because again, this is the first installment of MCU's Marvel Spotlight to where they're promoting you really don't need to know any backstory. You can watch this as a first-time viewer and not have to go back and watch all of the MCU, and all that fatigue stuff is out the window. You can just watch this. This could be the first Disney Plus show that pulls people to the platform, and they get subscriptions to watch Echo simply to watch Echo because they remember Daredevil Netflix was a thing. The Defenders were a thing. Oh, hey, you like that show? Guess what? You're going to like this show. Go watch it. It's on Disney Plus. And oh, by the way, here are all the other shows that we're going to put in your face as well. Let's just put a timetable on it. What do you guys think is a good, let's say a week, 2 weeks? What's your time frame to really say, hey, this has been successful? Like, how long should people talk about this, or what's the thought there when it comes to saying, like Hero Scroll had mentioned, it has legs? Because we don't have box office numbers for this, so it's kind of hard to quantify success for an initial release.
Success will probably be measured most likely for a lot of people by the drop day numbers. But I say a week. A week for 5 episodes is a long time.
I'm gonna say if Disney Plus crashes or not, but this show's not making Disney Plus crash. I would say, but the legs, yeah, I'd say a week of talking about it or just on social media would be pretty successful.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could depend on how big of a freaking MCU drop they do or how well they do Daredevil, and then people could be talking about it for freaking years till Daredevil comes out.
This could right the ship. I know we've talked about it for a while. If you followed the Point 3 podcast, you know that we've been anticipating this in many different ways. But this could be the start of something that we here at the Point 3 podcast have been yapping about. The MCU needs good, grounded stories. Get back to basics. Do it right. I don't know. My early prediction for this, I'm going to go 8.5. I'm going to feel like this is an 8.5 at the end of it. Very enjoyable.
I'm going to agree on that 8.5.
I always feel weird with the lowest one. I'm going with 7.5.
Okay, real quick, what does it have to do to get over an 8 for you? What does this need to accomplish?
You need good fight scenes and a cohesive story.
Deal.
That's
Cool.
it. That's it. I set my expectations with the ratings low because, you expect disappointment, you'll never be disappointed.
Who said it? Who said it?
But also, speaking of Spider-Man, Zendaya's MJ. But speaking of Spider-Man, I have a hot take theory on this. It's not going to happen, but it came to my head mid-episode. What if they just really, really set ablaze the Spider-Man world and just drop that final cameo that Holland has on contract for Echo with Daredevil or some shit? I've been seeing a lot of Spider-Man Disney Plus ads recently.
Man, I would
And
love
if they
to
say
see
Spider-Man 4 is supposed to be like Kingpin, Daredevil, this will really cement it to go that route.
So I know Hero's gonna have a thought on this. I would love if that would happen, I think by the end of this, you get Kingpin introducing a new street level villain, like a Tombstone or maybe a Scorpion or maybe a Bullseye comes in here or something along those lines. I think we would get that versus anything.
Yeah, no Spider-Man. Keep Spider-Man away. If you ask me who I think they should introduce, I'd say either Luke Cage or Elektra. That's the most logical, and that's the one I would want best.
I thought Elektra. I think Elektra would be good. That would feel very on brand with the MCU. No, I'm not saying that from an MCU standpoint. I just think that'd be a good character, and I think they'd have a great interaction together, especially with Daredevil as the common denominator there. I would just like to see more villain builds. I think as you build more villains, the heroes will come. I think we expect there to be more heroes, but we're always on the fence. And I think the more exciting thing that would get the crowd pop would be a big reveal of a good-looking villain who is someone who then could go off and Kingpin says, "Bring me Spider-Man," or something along those lines, or like he drops Peter Parker's name to him or something along those lines where it's just like, oh damn. Like that I have anticipation for when Kingpin and them do meet. Or he just chases Daredevil. So one of those two.
I like it. Well, we'll be seeing Echo tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
Eastern.
Exciting.
By the way,
Eastern.
9 p.m. Eastern,
time.
6
Yeah, I was
Pacific.
just about to get that. And thank you all for tuning into this episode from the Point 3 podcast. Don't forget to join us Wednesdays, 24 hours after Echo drops, for our Wednesday live stream, where we'll be discussing the latest news, reviews, insider scoops, and catch the full episode of our podcast anywhere you listen.
If you are watching Echo this week, let us know your thoughts over at Point 3 Podcast on Instagram or TikTok so that we can feature your comments in our next review episode.
And until then, all you Point 3 people, keep watching, keep reading, keep nerding out.